This. So, I come in, they say, make it happen. Good to go. I said the goal I achieved it, but I had to break it down into small pieces. Sometimes the goal is too big to us. That's why we don't take a stab at it. Like, damn, I'm not even do that. But think about this. The building that we're standing in right now was just a dream or a vision in somebody's head. Until people started to come in, moving dirt, removing areas, laying foundations, putting beams up, pouring concrete, things of this nature. All this stuff starts out as a quote-unquote dream. Now, this is the advice I'm going to give you about that dream process. Don't dream. Envision. There's a difference. The dream is the work of the imagination with action. Without action. When you sleep at night, you dream. When you wake up in the morning, you're a little disappointed because you're dreaming. That's weird. My dreams, I've been elected president twice, and 40 billion. But when I woke up, the dream was gone. But a vision is much different. It's not as fleeting. A vision is sustainable because you're going to take that same imagination, but you're going to put some action to it. So in the far part for me, I had a lot of vision. I envisioned that I could see doing this right now, back there, digging in ditches in Alabama. I could see me being the man I am today, back there when I was busting them trays, carrying those people's food, and making my way through, scrubbing them floors. I could see the man I am today when I was in those ditches, digging those hospitals. But you got to see it, and then you got to work toward it. And that is the difference between the dream and the vision, because with the vision, the dream never stops. And that's what you want to be. All right. So then, when we're talking about this time management thing, because that becomes a crucial part, set the initial goal. What is the end result? Whatever it's going to be, what is the end result? Backward planning, necessary. So, we take the instant of where we want to be and start working back from that. Start with the end in mind. We are at the end race. What does the end race look like? I had a good friend, Dr. Frank Godfrey. He told me something that has always stuck with me. He said, imagine one day that you're sitting at your funeral, and people are gathered in the church house, and they're giving you your eulogy. What are they saying? Now start back from there. He was a good man. He was a strong pillar of the community. He did good things for people. He looked after his family. He raised his kids. All those things. Now work back from that. Because death is the ultimate. Well, actually, it depends on what you believe, because actually that could be the beginning for you. But on this physical earth, that'll be the end of it. That's the ultimate end. Backward plan from there. Okay, identify the objectives necessary to complete the goal. So now we have outlined in our mind. We have this goal that we have. Now we're going to look at the objectives, just piece by pieces that we're going to take for those portions. Once we've got the objectives, break it into smaller components. So in my walls, for example, when I went through the dissertation process, this even happened. I was kind of out there at the time. I ended up working on a PhD, teaching college, running a business, married, all that in one fell swoop. Now, the first story they tell you about the maid. We'll tell you about the wife. Because she's the home team. I don't care what nobody say. The wife is the home team. A lot of people say, well, the man is the head of the family. Yeah, but you can't move without the neck, bro. Okay, so watch yourself, boy. Watch yourself. So, my wife, she was there through the whole duration. And my wife was a part of it. Because once again, you can't go void of your loved ones. You can't leave them out hanging out to dry. You got to incorporate them in your plan. You got to make sure you have continuity. And my wife and I now been married going on 11 years. We have a beautiful boy named David, and we have 2 twins on the way. Wow. This ain't gonna be shaved no more. They're gonna be hair falling out. They're gonna be shaved no more. So when I look back, and I gotta tell you this, next to the birth of my son, the marriage to my wife is the best thing ever happened. Best thing ever happened. And y'all see my wife, make sure you tell her that. All right. But she was a part of the plan, so she helped me through this process, the tasking, the individual pieces. I allotted time to complete each task. When I was going through the dissertation process, my supportive wife, she was there with me, and I would sit down and talk to her about things I had to do to make that part happen, because I had a lot of tasks going on. Now, visualization helps for some people. So I would put up whiteboards in my office, in my house, and I would write through those whiteboards, linking the plans together. Some other people like to journalize their information, and that actually works very well. Sitting down, writing it out in the journal, going back, reflecting to the journal, making sure you're staying on task. If you think that this is all kind of hype, Fortune 500 companies have to do this every day. to keep making that paper. And some of them got like a paper mill, and they're pretty good at this. That's why one of the things that I looked at in business and what attracted me to there is that those practices are actually the same practices you can use in your individual life to make success happen. Sitting down, setting objectives, writing those objectives down, and going forth and achieving those objectives makes life a lot easier than sitting there framing no plan. Okay? When all the tasks are complete, move to the next objective. So after you've allotted the time, you've achieved that part, move on to the next objective. This is another thing for those of us who procrastinate. By having that list and going in and checking those blocks, you can physically see where you're falling down on. If you know that you have to get X paper in by the end of the semester, it will probably do you well to back plan a little bit, particularly if you got 3 or 4 of them on. Right now, speaking of this right now, when I go back to my department at the College of Education, at the College at NC State, for the department I came out of, I hold the record for time completed. I finished my PhD in 3 years.
3 years.
3 years.
3 years.
3 years.
Business.
Education. PhD.
Professor.
Married. 3 years. 3 years to the day. I finished my that sheet of paper that got this whole thing started. Yeah, that one. Going to fleet of blood on this one. But you gave me some fire, you gave me some furnace for the fire. You helped me pull on off. But undergraduate education, 2.5 years, 2 master's degrees, 2 different disciplines in 2 different states, a year and 4 months. It can be done, folks. It can be done. You just gotta be on your grind. Important. Get a planner. Get a planner. The planner is one of the things. I tell you, if you can just get in a planner, you'll be good to go. First step. All right. Next thing. Relationships and developing those relationships with management. Dr. Arpadias says this. I love this guy. He's one of our department heads. He says, life is a contact sport. He's absolutely right. Your levels of success will come once again from the people that you affiliate with. Okay? Developing contacts and things of that nature are the things you're going to have to do to be successful in what you're doing. So when you look at your relationships, this becomes the most important skill of the day. See, in America, we deal now in knowledge and services. That's what we do in America. We don't build anything anymore. You be a mechanic. Go work, about 50 years ago, be a mechanic, work, never speak to another person. You be a tech person, about 20 years ago, you sit in your cubicle, take it out, not have to see a person to talk to them. Today, a little different. Consultants, doctors, lawyers. The person at Burger King who serves you your burger, they have to deal in relationships. They have to talk to you. They have to speak with you. You have to speak with them. So if you want to be successful in this thing we call life, you got to learn this skill of developing and then managing relationships. Because this is another thing. Your profitability will also be linked to how well you manage those relationships as well. So your standard of life and your quality of life will both improve based on your relationships. If you hang out with the right people, you might have the right opportunity. Some of us refer to it by the street vernacular, the hookup. Because if you're a network, you've been hooked up and pulling into what you're doing. Well, it's no different than that in business. Here's the beauty of it. It all actually starts in college. If you look at Wharton, Harvard, Yale, all those top 10, top called schools, it's all network. Do you think, I don't know, this is being taped, I don't know if I should say this out loud. I might have some problems a little later, they never be able to get this gig, but do you think that there's anything really different fundamentally when the education you receive at a Harvard versus at NC State versus at Chapel Hill? Not really. Network. There's a fundamental difference. Because the topics don't change, but the players do. And that's what you want to be a part of. And you can learn that right now at this level, as you're going through the community college system, as you're going through the undergraduate system. If you can learn that now, master it now, when you get on the other side, you'll have a larger network. Okay? So, relationship management, key element of success. Other things you want to do. How you make this happen? Very simple. Engagement. So first, we're going to look for some opportunities to be an engaged individual. Okay? So we're going to go in and say, all right, internship, club, co-op, whatever we got, we need to get involved in that. We can't be sitting on the shelf. We can't sit on the bench because that is not where the opportunities come from. Just saying, and this is another fallacy. I got to break this up for you right now. Most people say, well, when I graduate my 4.0, I'll be good to go. Listen, let me talk to you about that for a second. The 4.0 is a beautiful thing, and Dr. Washington is all about education.